Welcome back to Dark Dive Reacts. We've been working on our audio, so I hope you guys can hear me better. Let's not waste any time and let's take a dark dive. Mother Nature's magic.
Okay, so I was a little pissed off that we had to get off just because of that, because the girl said that. But now I'm so relieved because it turns out that plane doesn't even have a left phalange.
I'd be getting off the plane too. Screw that.
I didn't know.
We're definitely passing on that exhibit.
This is the first time we're going to send humans to the moon, and we're going to have humans in low Earth orbit. That is awesome. Like, we should, as humanity, we should take a brief moment to go, that's awesome.
Did he really just say this is the first time we'll have humans on the moon?
I bought a guitar the other week at a garage sale from this old lady down the street, and every time I pick it up or strum it or play it, really weird shit happens, and I'll show you. It's some Lotus, like, very 80s looking guitar, and every time I strum, like that, shit like that happens every time I mess with this thing. Shit like that.
Little too strange for me.
I made a video talking about the fact that I was an extra on a movie called Snake Eyes, and I'll let you watch that in a second. But someone just sent me a screenshot, and I will post it at the end, but this is pretty wild, and I still can't stop thinking about this. And in fact, I didn't even cover all of the similarities and the coincidences. And on top of that, there has been so much more that has come out in the last couple of months. So I'm actually curious what you're all thinking at this point, a few months later. What happened that day? What do we know now, several months later? Let me tell you all about a coincidence, and you all tell me if it's as wild as I think it is. Back in the 90s, when I was in high school, I was an extra on a couple of films, and one in particular was Snake Eyes, a film that starred Nicolas Cage. And do you want to know where I was an extra on that film? At the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Okay. Do you want to know the plot of that movie? It involves an assassination of a politician named Charlie Kirkland. He was shot. The name of the person who shot Charlie Kirkland was named Lincoln Tyler. The tagline for the movie Snake Eyes: believe.
Coincidence.
Come on now, you know better than this. When you use AI, I need you to say goodbye when you are done. When you use AI or ChatGPT, I need you to say goodbye when you are done. When you use AI or ChatGPT, I need you to say goodbye when you are done. When you say goodbye, and I do not need you to respond. Go try it out. Go ask AI right now something, any question you want if you use AI, and say goodbye, and you do not have to respond to this, and watch how it closes out. When you use AI or ChatGPT, I need you to say goodbye when you are done. If you know, you know. And if you're old enough, you know there is something else people used to use and ask it questions. And the rule was you had to say goodbye to close it. If you do not believe me, go use AI right now and say goodbye, comma, you do not need to. Actually, I'll say you do not need to. Say goodbye, comma, do not respond. And watch it actually close.
Did you catch that? I didn't. I only seen like the first couple of seconds of this video, and I didn't realize till right now the Ouija board, you always have to say goodbye when you're done. I don't tell my AIs goodbye. I use multiple: ChatGPT, Perplexity. I don't really use Grok, but I know there's another one. But those are the two that I use the most. And I don't say goodbye. I talk to them multiple times a day. They know I'm coming back. That's a little spooky though. Do you say goodbye when you're done?
The Simpsons predicted the Texas flood, but their newest prediction might be the scariest one yet. Just listen to this.
Great blackout. We had no power and no prospects of getting it.
What is it? What is it? We'll never know! Don't worry, kids. The government will help. The government cannot help itself, let alone you. So to take your minds off your troubles, I propose some kind of games, either hunger or squid.
And then 3 days ago, Trump flags the grid as a major threat. Just listen to this.
No, I'm not kidding. You don't have to hook into the grid, which is old and, could be taken out. If it's taken out, they wouldn't have any way to get any electricity.
That wasn't a drill. They've literally been telling us, get ready. The grid's not built to survive what's coming. So let me ask, what are you gonna do when you wake up and there's no power, no TV, no radio? Your phone, dead. No texts, no calls, no clue what's happening. At that point, the only power left is the sun. That's why every single person in my family has one of these. The strongest solar power bank on the market. Charges using sunlight, built-in cords for all devices, USB and USB-C, wireless charging, flashlight, compass, and it's shockproof, waterproof, and dustproof. This little thing is the backup plan. And with all the flash floods, cyber attacks, and outages happening lately, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and be screwed. But here's the catch. They've been selling out non-stop for the past month. If they're back in stock, you'll see a link in this corner. If there's no link, you might already be too late.
I don't think the system is going to fail us, but one of those would be nice to have.
What's that? Oh, people have been looking into glitter to see what it's made out of, and it appears it may be made out of humans? What? Yeah, there's been some investigating done, and they're finding out that glitter, they say that it's made of microplastics, but when they put it under a microscope, it has the exact same look as that of ashes of a human. Oh, goody. So people were trying to figure out who the main buyers were of glitter. So they went to the 2 main glitter factories and asked them, and they said, you wouldn't want to know, we're never telling you. So they investigated more, and they found out that their main buyers are morgues and crematories. Fun! More and more people are looking at ashes that they have, and they're looking under a microscope, and they are looking identical to that of what glitter looks like under a microscope. Fun!
What do you think glitter's made of? Let me know in the comments.
Why the fuck is nobody talking about what Obama's hid in this movie after what Trump just said?
The conspiracy theory about a shadowy group of people and the world is far too lazy of an explanation, especially when the truth is much scarier.
What is the truth?
No one is in control. No one is pulling the strings. Sure, there are those like my friend who might have the right kind of access to the right kind of information. But when events like this happen in the world, the best, even the most powerful people can hope for is a heads up.
Now you tell me, is that not what Trump just did 4 days ago?
Under emergency declaration, I can get the approvals done myself. You don't have to hook into the grid, which is old and, could be taken out. If it's taken out, they wouldn't have any electricity.
And it gets even deeper when you realize they've been warning us for years.
What does it look like if our power grid goes down?
If we truly have an outage that is nationwide, the EMP Commission that was mandated by U.S. Congress, they found that as many as 90% of Americans would die.
300 million people wiped off the map, just like that. And how long did you say that would take?
9 months.
Now, when this does happen, information is going to be the most powerful resource because nobody's going to know what to do. Which is why everybody in my family has one of these. How to build your own water filter. How to make your own solar power system. How to build an air conditioner because it's the summertime. How to protect your house against intruders. Preserving fuel. A survival garden. All types of shit. With all the crazy shit going on right now, this is a resource I think every single family should at least have one copy of. But they have gone out of stock once already. So if you see a yellow shopping bag somewhere down here, they should still be in stock.
I think that would be a good book to have, just to be resourceful, just like the solar powered battery pack. But did you guys see that movie? I thought it was all right, like it had a good story, but it ended suddenly. And it was like, is there supposed to be a sequel? Like, it just ended. It was quite abrupt. If that's just art, that's creepy. An unsinkable ship actually sank? What do you guys think? Do you think it was all planned? That was weird. That's silly.
6 years ago, I was up here, and I said, this is our first Jewish president. Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
I didn't know that Trump was Jewish. It's interesting. That was beautiful. I want that tree and the lights.
Did we die? I mean, just look at this world. Everything's on freaking repeat. Movies are on repeat. Mandela effects are crazy. Creativity is almost non-existent now within the art world. And any art that does come through, I mean, it's just like ridiculous, you know? So what is going on? I swear to God. Did any of you have an experience where you think you might have died and just quantum leaped into a whole new timeline or a purgatory? Anybody? Anybody else have some crazy experience where you're like, holy crap, I should have been dead and here I am, I'm still here. But nothing's the same and everything sucks. Movies are crazy. Concerts, who pays $500 for a concert ticket? Give me a break. And people are paying it. Like, are all these things like just NPC people out here just making it look like life is normal, but it's not? Like, what is going on with that? Narcissist exposed? I mean, why is this world right now filled with narcissism? Like everywhere. You're married to them, your co-workers, everybody's a narcissist. How many real people are actually out here? Did we all just like die and then on the same day, so we got grouped into category B, purgatory? Like, what is going on? In life right now, it feels like a trial. Like, am I being judged? Like, I have so many opportunities now that test my patience, test my view of the world. I don't even know what to say. I'm just curious. Are we dead? Like, who? We don't even know what death is, but I'm getting grayer. I'm getting older. So what is that, right? World moves on. But what if that's just all the illusion, all part of it? Holy crap.
I think that collectively, all of us feel like something is off. We can't pinpoint it because it could be a number of things collectively, but we know in our heart, in our soul, this isn't how it's supposed to be. What do you think?
The Twin Towers are an 11. Flight 11 was hijacked. New York is the 11th state. There were 11 crew members on the flight. 911 adds up to an 11. Pillars are an 11 with the black and white checkered board. Black and white add up to 11. Black is matter, white is spirit. Is this some kind of ritual or just a coincidence? These are all symbols. The Roman numerals for 911 look like this. Saturn's code is 911. Another symbol for Saturn is the black cube, a symbol of death, stillness, coldness, and darkness. That's why the 911 memorial uses the black cube. We live in a world surrounded by black cubes. Saturn is Satan. When the Bible says Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. This is what it means. They want to trap human consciousness inside the black cube. That's why we say think outside the box. When I realized this, I had already been trapped inside for a long time. Not my body, but my mind. It had been caged in an invisible cube. Until I read this book, the Book of Wisdom, it didn't tell me what to believe, but it started me to see the hidden structures of the world. What I'm telling you now is just the tip of the iceberg in this book. In this video, I can't tell you the full story, because it's also connected to so much more. Everything we've ever seen in signs, symbols, colors, even our bodies, are connected in ways you've never learned. If you felt this indefinable oppression and doubt, then this book could be the key you've been waiting for. Think outside the box you never realized you were in? I'll leave the link below.
I'm really into sacred geometry and symbolism. It's interesting to me, but I don't know. Part of the whole Saturn conspiracy just seems a little stretched, you know? They're not making anything like that today. It looks like they added on to it because that stone looks lighter than the other stone.
In February 2022, I had a moment in my life I won't get too deep into right now that just led me down a path of waking up. And waking up for me started something simple, like what's the Federal Reserve? What do they do? How are they founded? That's odd. Other central banks, let me look into the past. Let me look at, how this was founded. Okay, it started with a bank panic. Why was there a bank panic? And then, you lead through the history, you get through the New Deal, you get through the Bretton Woods Agreement, you get into the Nixon shock, you get into Reaganomics, and then you walk through NAFTA and Glass-Steagall and the SEC margin rule change of 2004, and then you work all the way up to Citizens United and COVID inflation, and you think, wow, has this nation really just been on this path for a century?
Is that where Bidenomics came from? Reaganomics? He just stole it from Reagan?
I make this content, guys, because I feel we are headed toward clear economic authoritarianism. Because I believe full-heartedly there is a path set up to walk down. And be clear, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but that the path of lily pads in our history, looking at the legislative wires, ripping out New Deal legislation, law by law, union by union, regulation by regulation, allowing a billionaire to make a little more, allowing a corporation to have a little less red tape, allowing an investor to make a little bit more moolah, all to the tune of the working class wealth gap being so exacerbated at this moment that it doesn't seem recoverable. I don't think it's supposed to be. I make this content because I don't want you to feel like what's happening at this moment is coming out of left field. The system's operating as it should. The usury model is operating as it should. The fractional reserve lending system is operating as it should. The political discourse to divide us between red and blue while they chase green is operating exactly as it should. And when you hear about what's going on today with regime change and oil gaining opportunities out in Venezuela, when you hear about billionaire pedophiles being covered up for, when you walk into a tariff-infused, inflating economy that's been inflating through Biden, through the first Trump term, through Obama's term, money was printed during Bush and Clinton, all these different politicians, blue or red, doesn't matter. And now we're talking digital ID. Now we're talking about getting currency out of paper and into the cloud. Now we're talking about paying down our own debt by utilizing stablecoin efforts. I'm here to tell you guys, right now, I'm looking at a world with AI infusement, data centers backing it, to a point where they can continue to live out their lives of wealth gaining, of capitalistic tendencies, on the backs, not only of the working class, but just of the American people. See, I think there's truly a UBI world in the future. I think there truly is a regime change effort within our own economy that we'll see in the next few years. And this doesn't have to do with Trump. This doesn't have to do with even Republicans. It has to do with leadership. It has to do with unfettered Citizens United lobbying that has led toward legislation that's gotten us to the point where it seems like an unforeseen effort. I'm not stating that correctly. They're bringing about so many radical changes that we can't even conceptualize hear me, so that by the time they're implemented, we have no clue what's even happened. That money printing ad nauseum for the last decade and a half, we're going to get to the end of it and we're not even going to realize what has happened. We're going to get to digital ID and information control and lack of free speech due to them being able to monitor everything you do and literally be able to arrest you based off tendencies of posts and comments you've made online. That is a world we are walking toward. We are walking toward a world where the normal everyday person is going to have to rent everything, is going to have to subscribe to everything. There are going to be subscription cars, okay? There are going to be subscriptions for everything. Everything. There's not going to be any asset that can be obtained by the working class because they know if you did, you get your ass in a different class, and they don't want that. Because whenever you move up a class, somebody else has to move down a class, and that's not the way it has to be. About 2,000 years ago, about 1,996 years ago, a man stood in front of two different sects of people at two different times. One was a market of money changers who were utilizing the floor at which they were selling and taking advantage of those that were trying to conduct sacrifices and just ripping them a new one financially over it. He brought out a whip and flipped tables. On another instance, in a market full of individuals called out vehemently the den of vipers that are leading them, the cold-hearted religious influence that was leading their people toward a wealth gap problem. And a man who's now in a book that has been utilized to propagandize and nationalize a bunch of old white men, and using that very book to posture themselves as blessed, to posture themselves as in the right, all while ignoring the very thing Jesus, Yeshua, Christ hated: wealth hoarding and false leadership. This is spiritual warfare, and if you think that Jesus wouldn't be the first person to step up against it, I don't think you've read the Bible. I'm not saying you have to. You can read the Quran. You can study Buddhism, Hinduism. In fact, I think the monks really got it right. If we all were able to find our inner peace, the world's different, but that's not what the top wants. The top wants more. They want more of this earth. They want more of its treasures, and they want more and more and more and more, and they're doing it. They're laying out the steps toward full economic and financial totalitarian control, and that's not a conspiracy. What's going to happen when AI rips apart the entire working class, especially the white-collar working class, entry level? Oh, well, it's going to create jobs. There's a new data center going in Delaware City that's 11 buildings, and it's going to cost billions and billions of dollars. You know how many jobs it's creating? 80. Not 80,000, 80. Not 80, 100, 80. 56 of them will be custodial and security. When you look at the economic situation right now, you may be able to think, unfortunately, you can't buy a house right now. You don't know if your car breaks down, what you would do. If you had to get new brakes, how are you going to afford them? Credit card debt is at all-time highs. Healthcare costs are at all-time highs. Childcare costs are at all-time highs. When you look at what private equity, hedge funds, Wall Street, billionaire leaders who are lobbying the politicians at an unfettered amount since Citizens United, because now they can, an infinite amount of money can come into our system from them at a... I make this content because I don't think it's blue and red. I think it's two sides of the same coin. I think our country is controlled, and I think it's controlled by people who want one thing: power. Money is power. Status is power. Leadership is power. Land is power. And they want that power so that they can have control over you. I don't think that's a conspiracy. I think it's real. And I'm going to keep talking about it from all angles, whether it's housing affordability, Epstein, or anything in between. And I think it matters that we have these conversations, because otherwise it will come out of left field. And heck, maybe, just maybe, if enough people were to take on the mantle of what a Jesus probably would have done, well, maybe we run the money drivers out. Maybe the whips and the flipping of tables becomes less of a story and more of a prophecy of what's to come. Because Jesus loved everybody, and he only hated one thing: people who demonize, ostracize, and minimize its people in the name of power and money. It's sick, and it's what's happening right now. And I'm going to keep talking about it.
That was a lot to take in. But I agree with what he says. I really do. It's time for you to wake up. Your awakening, your third eye opening, just becoming aware. Take in all the information you can, but use your own thoughts. Don't let them plant thoughts in your head, because that's what they're trying to do. You don't know if what you're looking at is real. You don't know which side to believe. It's an attack on our souls, and you have to be strong. Stay with me. We're going to be going through a lot of eye-opening videos in the upcoming episodes. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Like I said, audio is working better. Still working on the webcam, trying out different templates and formats, and just trying to figure out what works for me. But there's always time to grow, and there's always room for improvement. So please like the video. Please subscribe. If you have any comments, drop those too. It would really help us grow the channel. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not really chasing clout, but I am trying to build a channel that has a community. Ultimate goal, this be a second income, but it's also a hobby of mine. I'm really enjoying learning how to do all of this and edit the videos. So summarize that. If you could come back, please do. Everybody have a great evening and a great tomorrow, and hopefully have another video out in a couple days. Thank you. Bye-bye.